welcome to AJ Paints. In this video I'm going to take another look at the Rogue Purge, a subject I've covered before, but we're going to look at it in a slightly different way today. So the Rogue Purge, as you can see here, sci-fi based miniatures, coming from the original Core Space board game. They were released a few years ago now, a short production run of resin miniatures, really lovely details, different to the original miniatures that came with Core Space game. Once they'd gone out of print, they achieved near mythical status amongst the Core Space community, commanding high prices on eBay and with people often asking when they'd be re-released. And Battle Systems had no plans to re-release them, at least not in a physical format. But fantastically, they are now available on the Battle Systems store as STLs, along with a number of other Core Space miniatures which are harder to find nowadays. So today I'm going to have a look at how to take one of those STLs from the store, this guy, Freeman, the live one, and see how we can convert him to use in Maladum. You can see here one of my original physical conversions where I took one of my old resin minis, chopped the arms off, made a staff out of green stuff, cut the guy's hand off, stuck it on the end of the staff, all good. But today I'll show you how you can do some things in a slightly easier way. So we'll start off on the Battle Systems web store, that's battlesystems.co.uk, and if you head, well, you can see the splash page here has got Rogue Purge all over it. If you head up to the STL store at the top, then that'll give you all the options, and there's some great stuff here: Black Star Rising, Rogue Purge, Shift Change at Megacorp, and Wanted Dead or Alive. So Rogue Purge and Shift Change, the ones that have been long out of print. Some lovely civilian miniatures in Shift Change if you like that sort of thing for Core Space, which, well, frankly, I really do. You can buy individual figures for £3.50, or at the minute the packs are around about £15–16. So what I'm really interested in is this one, the Rogue Purge Live One. So click on it, find it, add it to your cart, and when you've paid for it you'll get an email with a link to a download. That'll take you to a Dropbox, and these are the files. The one I'm going to choose is the unsupported one. There it is, Rogue Live One, and I'm going to just download that to my computer. Now I want to do some editing on this file. I don't want to just print it as it is because I want to make it ready for Maladum. So I'm going to use this free app, Tinkercad. It's super useful. You can sign into it with a Google account. Just create a Google account for free if you haven't got one. I think you can probably just sign in anyway. Once you get in, click on Create as I did, and you get this broad workspace. I'll just show you a couple of really simple things. You can work with primitives, drop a block on. You can see it works in millimeter sizes or inches if you prefer that. Drop a solid block, you can drop a hollow block on like this, join them together, cut pieces out. That's pretty much all you need to know. So once you've done that, you can move your view around. That's just a click and drag. You can right click to, I think it's right click and drag for that. Shift and right click will let you pan around. Anyway, let's try importing our Rogue Live One STL, and we straight away run into a problem. Tinkercad is reasonably limited. It will only limit you to 25 meg file sizes and 300,000 triangles, I think, in your STL. So a quick Google, simplify STL online free, takes us to this one. I just went for the top one, linked to my mini factory, and come to this really helpful little web tool. As it says, drag and drop an STL file in there. I chose my file, so I'm going to pop my Rogue Live One in. And as soon as I've opened that, it'll tell me, and I can see there in the little data, that we've got 100,000 triangles, quite a lot. So you can see there at the minute that's set to download, or simplify rather, to 50,000 triangles. So I bring that down to around 30%, well, less than 30, I think, 29%. Reload the file, there we go. And you'll see now that I've got 29,000 triangles at the bottom of the screen. So that'll definitely go into Tinkercad. It's well less than the 25 meg limit. So I click on Simplify, click to download it, do whatever you need to do on your computer. Re-add that in, there we go, Simplify Rogue Purge. And that's ready for uploading. And it actually took a couple of minutes on my computer, but I've just cut through that for you. So here is the Rogue Purge laid on its back, and obviously we're going to need to do some work to that. But before we go in and edit the Rogue Purge figure itself, we need to have a look for some things to make it a little bit more fantasy oriented. So I'm going to go to Thingiverse, brilliant website. You can sign in, you get an account, do whatever you need to do there as well, but you don't need to sign in. So on Thingiverse, I've searched here for Fantasy Weapon Kitbash, just to see what comes up, and there's a few things here sort of gun related, but just sliding down takes me to a really fantastic looking one. Here it is, Fantasy Arsenal. This is by a creator called Dutch Mogul. Dutch Mogul has got loads of stuff on Thingiverse, really prolific, producing just hundreds of miniatures for free. So a massive shout out to Dutch Mogul. Don't know if they're still active, but they've been putting stuff on there for years. Anyway, as you can see here, we've got a huge range of weapons. Some of them are quite simple looking. I'm just going to click on this 3D tab on this shield just to check it out, and it's quite a simplistic looking thing. They're not overly fancy, a lot of these ones, but that's not really what we need. That's the kind of thing we're looking for, a fairly simple sword. So I'm going to go ahead and download the entire pack, and I'm sure I'll find some useful things in there which we can add to our live one. Alright, so back into Tinkercad, and it's time to get this person standing on their feet. So quickly select it, and you can see the rotation tools here. Click on one of those and just drag. If you click inside the circle and drag, it jumps in 22.5-degree increments. If you go outside, it's a bit smoother. So that's it. Stood on his feet. It looks like he's sunk below the surface. So if you click on an object, click on the black triangle at the top, you can drag it up. And if you look at the bottom, as I slide this up, you can see it's telling me that it was 2 millimeters below the surface. Now we're sitting exactly bang on at 0. As you can see, Tinkercad, great, easy to use. I'm going to change it to a bit more of a green colour, that desaturated green that the live one usually is. Make it a little bit easier on my eyes. Now I think it's time to inspect the model, because we have lost some detail from this. We've taken it down to 30% of the triangles that it had before, so we're certainly going to lose some detail. But what we've also got to remember is we're printing this out, and it's going to be small. You know, these things are 3 centimeters high. So even though, as we zoom in, you can see on the back of his head here, we've got most of that detail there. It looks a little bit crunchy in places. By the time it's printed out, I don't think we're going to notice any of that at all. You know, that's a brush tip basically where that hole is. So I think we shouldn't have any problem. As you use Tinkercad, you'll get used to sliding around, panning around, holding shift to move around. Just on the top left hand side, you've got a little view changer there, which makes it easier to get back if you need to. Anyway, let's have a look at getting in some of the things that we downloaded earlier. So clicking on the import button and then finding out wherever I put these things. There we go. There's loads of stuff in here, looks fantastic. But I think the first thing we'll find, where's the first sword? Great sword, looks good. In fact, probably great. No problem bringing that in. Like I said, those Dutch Mogul files are fairly simple. Let's get some shields in as well. I don't know which one's going to look best of the shields, so I'll bring in a few. You can see the green bar at the bottom of the screen there, just letting me know that something's uploading. So let's see, once we've got them in, I'll choose which one I want to keep and get rid of the rest. Alright, I like the look of this one better than the others. So let's go ahead, click on them, just press delete on the keyboard, that'll get rid of them. You can click on any of these objects and just drag them around with the mouse. Again, said before, Tinkercad, really easy to use. And I think I like the look of that sword, I like that shield, and we're just going to stick them on. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring the shield roughly to where I think it ought to go. Using that little black triangle at the top to drag it up, and that was very lucky. It's exactly pretty much in the right place. And the good thing about the shield here is that it covers up, mostly covers up anyway, that strange device that the live one's holding. I want to go for the simplest possible kitbash here. I don't want to get into editing the live one STL really at all. So I'm just going to drag that around, move it just up and down until I'm really happy with it. Maybe even change the scale of it by dragging some of the corner pieces, but I think that looks all right. Maybe the angle could do with a small change. So if I can just click on that, I'll be able to drag it around, get it exactly right. I wouldn't worry about those little bits there as well, the things that stick through. You probably won't notice by the time you've got it printed and painted. Alright, that looks like the shield done. He's holding it a little bit high, to be honest. If I was being fussy, then I'd do something about bending his arm around. But for this, we don't care. We're just going to get some things, chuck them on, and then you can see what it looks like at the end. Make your own decisions. Bringing the sword around, I'm going to use the rotation tools here to get it roughly in the orientation that I want. I know he's going to be holding it out sort of behind him, perpendicular to his body, using that little black arrow to drag him up again. And then it's just a case of finessing it really, moving the view around, clicking on the sword, dragging it about and bringing it so it looks like it's going through the hand. Now the live one here has been sculpted holding a ball, some kind of futuristic sphere thing. I'm not going to get rid of it. I'm just going to include that as part of the handle of the sword, I guess. Could probably scale the sword up to make the handle a little bit fatter, but I'm just going to stick it in. And I mean, there it looks okay. It's done. Maybe a little bit of just adjusting to line it up so it's coming through the hand a little bit better. You can see I'm jumping around a bit here. If I go down to the settings at the bottom and change the grid locking, move that down to 0.1 millimeters, I can move it a little bit more smoothly and just get that to a place where I'm happy with it. So we're getting closer to being done. I'm just going to select all the pieces and make them the same colour. I'm not grouping them yet. I just want to see what they look like together. And looks okay. I think probably that sword's sticking out a little bit too far backwards, so it might need a little bit of adjusting, but basically it's alright. Shield's a bit high, he's really hiding his face. It might be a bit tricky to paint him, but for a start, for a first go, it's okay. Now, let's find a base. So, Maladum bases is what I'm looking for. I know there's some stuff on Thingiverse here, so just find one of them, pick one of the bases, save it, import it, same as we've done before. They'll come straight in, they don't have too many triangles. So there we go, I've gone for Dungeon Base 5, and that's going to pop up. It takes a couple of seconds to upload it, but when it pops in, what a lovely colour. There we go. So I'm going to grab the live one all together. And this time I've actually joined it. So I clicked on the group button and that joins them together as one piece. And now I'm ready to grab onto that live one and drag it up. So it's sitting on top of the base at the minute. His ankles are stuck into it. So I need to get him, I think it's 3 millimeters up in the air in order to sit comfortably on that base. So I'll get it centered first, roughly. I'm going to use the centering tools just in case, just to see if I center it automatically. It looks good, but it didn't. So I think that looks about right. Here, just rotating it around so that his feet are going to be stood on some of the more solid pieces. When these bases were made, it looks like they've got some rough bits on there. So there we go, bringing them up to 3 millimeters using that little measurement tool at the bottom. And if I zoom in, yeah, we can see that those feet are pretty much stuck in. There's no weird little gaps in there. So when that prints, that should come out fine. Again, let's see what it looks like all together. Yeah, okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, though, that sword is really bugging me though, so clicking on the ungroup button there, just breaking them apart again, I think it wants to be sticking down a little bit more like that. So quick adjustment of the angle, throw it back in, and we'll see if we can make it look a little better. Yeah, that's looking good. So we'll drag select all of the pieces now, click on the group button, union, I think it's called the union button, and then that should all become one single piece, which we can then export as an STL, and then you can print that in whatever way you want to print it. Alright, so the export button is up here. Once you clicked on that, it'll give you a few options, whatever your printer uses, but STL just about halfway down is what we went. Just selected everything in the design because that's the only thing we've got on our workspace at the minute, and that's downloading. That'll come up as a STL file. I've never had any problems printing from Tinkercad, always worked out. Anyway, last thing, here are some others that I worked on previously. A couple of slightly different ways of doing it. I'll show these in another video maybe, but we've got a higher shield here with a different sword. You can see there's the original live one just at the front end. That one with no base on it. It's got a nicer sword, slightly nicer angle, and also the hand. You can see I cleaned off the armour stuff that was on the Live One's right hand, and on his left hand I've replaced that with, well, it was the hand that was stuck on the sword actually, I think. It's like a skeleton hand. Again, once you print it, probably won't notice. If you're really looking, you'll notice it's got too many fingers, but it's okay, and that's pretty much what we're going for here. This one, I thought I chopped a hand off the front. It's a bit of a mess, but it's got the 3 fingers and all the rest of it. So I literally cut that hand off from where it is behind the shield there. But it looks pretty cool. So at some point I'll get these printed out and we'll see. You can also see I adjusted the arm here. I chopped that right through the elbow and then bent the whole thing down so the shield was a little bit lower, so that you can see the Live One's face as he's, well, getting ready to strike. I think it probably looks a bit better. Well, that's it for now. No painting this time, just a bit of this digital kit bashing. If you've enjoyed this, give me a like and a subscribe. Let me know in the comments if it's the sort of thing that you've enjoyed watching and you might want to see some more of this again in the future. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you again next time.